In Module 3, we learned about Heart of Darkness, which I wouldn't necessarily say it was my favorite piece of literature that we've read so far, but it's probably the piece of literature where I took away the most from. And we actually read Heart of Darkness in 11th grade, but to be totally honest, I don't remember much of it. And realistically, I probably didn't even read all of it back then. So it wasn't exactly the first time I was reading it, but it kind of was. Anyways, I'll go on to describe three things I learned from Heart of Darkness, and I guess from Module 3 as a whole. Um, First of all, I learned that not all stories always adhere to a strict, regular progression of time, and that an author can manipulate the past and the present in order for different artistic storytelling purposes. So in Heart of Darkness, the author Conrad uses a narrator named Marlowe, and Marlowe doesn't tell the story as it's happening. Marlowe is just hanging out in a ship in London, and he's telling the story of what happened way back when he was younger. But the story that he's telling is the actual story where that goes on throughout the entire work. So you read the book and the story that you're thinking about is really what the character in the story is telling. So it's a story within a story is the most simple way of putting it. I know it's a little complicated, but by having the author not be the one to tell the story, to have a character in the story be telling a story from his own past, kind of helps us understand how the past is both influential to his current life and also kind of a big factor in his present life. So that's number one. I know that's kind of complicated, but I guess try to figure out how to say that in better words. Number two, another thing I learned from Module 3 and Heart of Darkness is just facts about the colonization in the Congo and how European businesses worked back then. I know that isn't necessarily so much particularly about writing, but I guess it helped me. I didn't even know a lot about what was going on with the English traders and the natives in Africa, so that was interesting. Number three, the third thing I learned was, I guess, how the tone and style of the writing came off and how that affected what I learned from the story. And the tone helps the reader focus and not just on the contents of the story, but the way it was presented and written. And Conrad, the author of Heart of Darkness, his writing style is pretty vague, and I guess it gives the reader more of a general. It gives the reader more room to interpret the story how he wants because the writing style is vague, and it kind of made me it kind of hit me that the way an author presents the story can be more, if not just as important as the actual story itself.